And out of the darkness comes a light. Hero theme, people. Hero theme. That's what I'm talking about. Good evening. This is Wednesday, December 18th, 2019. 9 o'clock at night. Exactly on the 9 p.m. Week before Christmas. So, how's everybody doing? My goodness. It's, well, we got a lot to talk about. But first, let me just say, I'm Ryan. Producer, director of Tales of Valhalla, The Aftermath Chronicles, found on YouTube by going to Tales of Valhalla. You just type Tales of Valhalla on the search bar. You'll find us there. And, yeah, well, as you can see, we got some more special effects to do tonight. I'll say that from working on special effects last Wednesday to this Wednesday, I haven't really worked on special effects anymore on this or ever since then. So this will be, you know, this is it. I haven't really done anything with special effects. It's just been sitting here, but I have been doing other things. Want to talk about that for a second before we get started with this. So first, see here, I can't read my own writing. Oh yes, one thing I've been doing, animating season 3. I don't know if I mentioned this last Wednesday, but started to animate season 3. Still animating more. Working on a scene that has Kimoshi in it. It's one of the first scenes in episode 1 of season 3. And yeah, just going through dialogue shots, basically. So that's the setup behind me, the camera and everything back there, and the lights. Trying to do as much as I can with this scene before the end of the year, which is in the next 2 weeks. And yeah, okay, so I'm going to cross that off here. Boop. Okay. And one great thing, my problem with transferring, because I mentioned last week that I was having issues via HitFilm to Sony Vegas, that I wasn't able to transfer my video files to edit the audio to video on those files, because I edit my audio on Sony Vegas. Working with HitFilm, got that fixed. We still haven't fixed the upgrade HitFilm Pro, so the HitFilm Pro that we're seeing here on the screen is still the older November version. So I don't know when they're going to fix that. I might just have to wait till the next upgrade and see if that one works, and just forego this one. But so, not half bad. And I'm going to cough a second, hold on. So choked up. Let's see here. What else? Let's see here. Yep. Okay. Okay, it's episode 6. So as far as editing this, I was hoping by sometime mid or later December that I was going to get this episode done. And so that would be like next Wednesday, Christmas Day night. I don't think I'll be able to do it in a week. I mean, I'm going to have a little bit more time, but I just think I'll be in a hurry to get it done. So more than likely, this episode will release on New Year's Day, or more specifically, New Year's Day that night at 9 p.m., as we do every Wednesday. Already had a burp. Okay. So yes, so expect that happening on New Year's Day. We'll continue, and then after this episode, just 4 more episodes in season 2. Then got to work on season 3 to get that stuff done, which will probably take hopefully half the year, and by the latest, hopefully by late fall next year, we'll start releasing Season 3. Hopefully earlier, but we'll just see how much time I have to work on it. Oh yes, so the big thing. Last week I didn't have much news on the Ender 3, but I do tonight, so we're going to take a look at it. So I did assemble the lot of it, and here it is on its side. So let me get to... This is me just putting the stuff in. There's photos of the process. And just the assembly. A lot of it was just basically tightening bolts and loosening bolts, tightening bolts, attaching things. And I am very, how would I put it? I'm very beginner when it comes to 3D printers. I've never assembled a 3D printer before. I've barely looked at a 3D printer. I mean, my friend Jason Rutherford, Tabletop Battlefield, by the way, and we expect Tabletop Battlefield sometime before Christmas, I think, if Jason's watching. Jason, how's the Tabletop Battlefield for this year? How's the editing going for that? I know it's a mess. Yeah, so that's happening. But anyway, he's got some 3D printers, but all I've done was see them. I have never really operated one, so this is all new to me. And assembling this Ender 3, I'd say in my review for assembling it, I mean, with the instructions, like I had a YouTube video help me out. I had also printout instructions. It wasn't that difficult, really. I mean, it was just the labor part that was difficult, you know, and just getting everything finessed and good. So here's a continuing process, and here's part of the thing in my lap, and I'm, you know, spending time assembling it, getting all these gears and stuff ready for it, and hopefully it's all put together soundly. And so that is from behind. Here, hold on a second. You caught part of that burp. Sorry about that. Oh, and tonight I'm drinking hot chocolate. Just because it's cold outside. Can't drink carbonated beverages all the time. But yeah, so this is, it looks like it. I think it's fairly complete. I think what wasn't assembled right there in this photo was all the wires, all the wire connections. But I did start doing that as well and getting all these certain connections. It's very cookie cutter assembling this thing. So I'd say for those who are thinking about 3D printer and people from High Ground say that it's very simple. I wouldn't say easy, but it's simple to assemble. It is very simple to assemble. You get instructions. You get all the tools that you need in the box. You have, you know, printout instructions. You have clearer instructions as well on online as well that you can download from the Ender website. And there's also this YouTube video that I can post a link in the description below. There's this fellow from I think it's a tabletop terrain 3D printer building page, where he assembles an Ender 3 and gives you very good instructions on how to assemble it, to have it working as efficiently as possible, and that helped me a lot. So I'll put a link in the description below of that person, because I want to give him some kudos, because it really helped me in assembling this thing. So you know, there's information out there to get it done and get it complete. And there's a bird's eye view of it, and I think that's it. Yeah. So that's basically it. It's done practically. All I gotta do is plug it in and operate it and see how it works. I probably won't get to that though for another week or so, so we'll talk about that next week. But this is basically it. This is my birthday present. It's nice. I can't wait to start printing. Hopefully, I mean, I'm thinking before the new year I might be able to print a couple of things, maybe, you know, test it out. So that will be cool. And I'll talk about, you know, that process as well. But like I said, I mean, so far my overall view of the Ender 3, very positive. And like I said, I am a beginner. I am a newbie when it comes to 3D printers and 3D printing. I have no idea what I'm doing. And this was a simple build. I don't know how, like, with other 3D printers, how simple the build is or any of that assembly, but this one was very, very simple, fairly easy. I mean, I had to really listen hard to instructions sometimes, but any mess-ups I did, you know, were easily corrected, and as long as you know how to tighten and loosen screws and bolts and understand that concept, then you should be good to go to get this. And like I said, I mean, this thing is like less than $300. It's a steal for the amount of instructions and tools that they give you. It's just great. Anyway, so I could talk about it all night, but so far, when it comes, you know, earlier packaging, A+, assembly, 3D printer, A+. So now I'll see what it's like to program this and 3D print something, and we'll see how that goes. So let's see, and I'll tack that off. Okay. And like I said, Jason, I don't know if who are watching, but again, I'm asking you, do you, what is the status of Tabletop Battlefield? Will it be out before Christmas or on Christmas? Just curious, because I know it wasn't the best conceived episode, and so just wondering. Okay, so 10 minutes into this, so we're gonna get started on doing some special effects. I'm not gonna get too in depth tonight, just because well, I'm not gonna go for very long. Let's just put it that way. Might go for another 20-30 minutes and then just call this a live stream, just because it is the holidays. I like to get some sleep. I like to catch up on my sleep sometimes. But we will start by going through this scene. So we got a lens flare here, and like it's kind of intense, and we need to actually put it here. Scroll out. We need to put it at this moment. It's like a very small fight scene with Karak and Torin, and we need to have that hit on the moment of impact. So somewhere between there. It could be just simple movement based. But yeah, so besides that, I have something on my mind that I wanted to talk about while working on this stuff. So basically we're just adding lens flares tonight to things. So, but yes, I have something to talk about, and what I want to talk about while I'm doing this is Star Wars. I know, it's a very controversial subject. It's a shame. It's a shame it's a controversial subject, but that's where we're at right now. Okay. So what I want to talk about is my feelings on because the Rise of Skywalker, the last movie of the Skywalker, quote-unquote Skywalker saga, all 9 films, is going to be released at the end of this week, in just a couple days. And I noticed already, I mean, Disney wants this movie to be successful so badly. Everyone practically in Hollywood wants this movie to be successful so badly. And I'm sure a lot of Star Wars fans want it to be successful very, very badly too. But already Rotten Tomatoes is only giving it like 53, like less than 55%, I think. So it's rotten. So very mixed reviews. That's not good. If even the critics are being like, I don't know. But then again, based on the critics' reviews, sometimes when critics on Rotten Tomatoes say something's bad, it's actually good. So we'll see, but I don't know. It just heightens the curiosity a little bit more. Like what is going on? It's like, how can you do this? Like, just make Star Wars such a controversial topic. It's like, I don't know how to say it, but anyway. So I wanted to give my thoughts on the whole thing, and like my take on Star Wars, what I think about it. And I'll start off by saying I grew up actually going to the library, getting VHS tapes of the original trilogy, and this was like early 90s, so I'm not talking about the remastered stuff. This was before any remastering, although I did watch a lot of those too. Actually, I ended up buying those VHS tapes. But first what I watched is I went to the library. I think I watched Empire Strikes Back like when I was like really little, but by this time I was like 9 years old. But before I was a lot younger, a lot later, and of course I didn't get. I was too young. But I ended up getting Star Wars: A New Hope. Like I said, just got it from library, VHS tape. Used to do that in libraries. That was Netflix. That was all these things you find online to where you watch films. The library was it back then. Or just buying it at a store, or Blockbuster. Blockbuster was huge, but you have to pay. At the library, you don't have to pay. You just get it, and there you go. So yeah, watched Star Wars, then watched Empire Strikes Back, then Last Jedi, then Return of the Jedi, and I was hooked. I was very much hooked right away, loving the special effects. Here, I think I have to wait a frame. Yeah. And Empire Strikes Back is, in my opinion, the best Star Wars film. Let's see if I can get... Okay, so this is just going to be a quick hit. Boom. Although, let's try and... Okay, that's better. Boom. Alright, let's see how that looks. Yeah, so that's what I grew up on. And I loved it when they had the old LucasArts games and like Shadows of the Empire, and I ended up getting, reading all types of, now it's Star Wars Legends books, but the original Star Wars canon before Disney came and bought the rights. And yeah, I was very much into Star Wars and loved everything about it. And then came the prequels, and at that time I was 17, 18, I think, when Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, came out. And the prequels, I mean, and I look back, and I guess I'm trying to say is like how I would judge like the newer Star Wars trilogy, the prequels and the sequel trilogies now. They're definitely not as good as the original, but the original, so many memorable things, so many memorable characters, because there was actually some character depth and perception, fleshing out these characters. Prequels had a little bit, because some of the characters were already established in the original trilogy. So yeah, there, okay, that's good. I like that. Let's see here. Bam. Oh, sorry, I rearranged it again. Oops. Alright, let's just cut that off there and one at that, one at that. Right. Torrent smacks them. I think I'm gonna let that go for another frame. But yeah, so now coming to, I mean, I think when it comes to these new Star Wars movies that are coming out, starting with The Force Awakens, and then we had some anthology movies. I think out of all of them, from what I've seen so far, of course I haven't seen The Last Jedi yet, or The Last Jedi, the Rise of Skywalker. I keep on saying The Last Jedi. That's probably one of the worst ones. It depends on rewatchability. One of the things I judge like the Star Wars movie on is rewatchability. And Rogue One, every time I watch it, I love it more and more and more. So, in my opinion, Rogue One is the best out of all these new ones that have come out. And it just goes great with the original trilogy. So love that. And when it comes to this new trilogy, the sequel trilogy, when I saw Force Awakens, I guess looking back, I would judge it basically in two ways. One way is the special effects and nostalgia. And then on the other side, the story and character development. So as far as the special effects and nostalgia, when you see, you know, some of the original characters, original props, you know, whatever, and special effects, you know, the gun battles, the weapons, and just all of that, lightsaber battles, it was great. I enjoyed all of that, and you know, left the theater really satisfied. And the character development, I mean, I base it on the fact that, do I remember anything about that movie, you know, that's memorable, that would make me want to keep on watching it again? And I think I've only watched it, actually, this movie, like The Force Awakens, like 2 or 3 times. So it's not like on the rewatchability list. It doesn't hold me as much, and especially since like The Last Jedi came out, it holds me even less, because you had these characters, you know, getting started okay. In the first movie, like when it came out, you kind of forgave the fact that the character development wasn't all there. I mean, it was very fast-paced, very like, you know, we're just established characters, all the stuff happens, and then we're done. And The Last Jedi should have been the time to flush out and really get into that character development, and it really didn't. And so let's just move on to The Last Jedi. Again, when it comes to special effects and battles, it was great. It was a lot of fun. I think my one memorable moment that I always remember is the force projection, Luke Skywalker facing all these like AT-AT, these walkers, you know, and they all fire down on him, and then the dust settles, and he's still standing there, and then he just brushes something off his shoulder. I mean, I wish that could have been the whole movie. Then I would be watching Last Jedi forever if that would have been practically the whole movie. Unfortunately, it wasn't. And unfortunately, Luke Skywalker wasn't what we thought he was going to be, and it just... as far as characters go, I mean, some people might have liked it. I didn't. I mean, it was the least memorable. There was very little memorable moments, and just too many shock things happening for the film. And so, I mean, there you go. And how many times have I rewatched Last Jedi? Maybe 2 or 3 times as well. I mean, same thing goes for Solo. I like Solo. I mean, there was some memorable moments of Solo, but Solo, I just have a personal vendetta against it because I don't like the casting when it comes to the guy who played Han Solo. I mean, he tried acting his best in the film, but he was just not Han Solo material, in my opinion. I mean, and that I knew that as soon as they cast him. I just looked at his face. I'm like, there's no way he can do what Harrison Ford did. Absolutely not, or do his best with it. It's just, nope. It was a bad casting decision. But besides that, I mean, yeah, I mean, I kind of like Solo. I mean, I think it should have done better than what it did, but it was on the heels of The Last Jedi, and so there you go. People were just not happy with Last Jedi. And then, so we get to this movie coming up. And basically, I'm just going to rate it on the same scale of, you know, I'm sure it's going to have a lot of special effects, a lot of insane battles. And I'm not really doing much video editing, am I? Okay, so that's good. Let's move on to another scene. I'll talk about Rise of Skywalker in a second. Okay, we're going to go here, because I already got a light flare ready here. We're going to actually stretch this out and have this be a bit bigger. And I'm probably going to layer special effects on this, but just adding this right now. So let's move it here, because it just needs to stay in this space. And we are going to... So I'm all for, you know, having a great special effects movie and lightsaber battles and spaceship battles and all that. I mean, that's fine. But when it comes to the story and the depth of the story and the character development, it's not happening in this new trilogy. Or not happening to the level that it should be happening. So actually, I'll just turn this off. Okay, we're gonna get to this light flare, and so I'm probably gonna like Rise of Skywalker for that effect, because it looks like, I mean, there's gonna be, and as far as I know from the critics' reviews, I mean, it's just non-stop Star Wars action from beginning to end practically. So that's fine. I mean, I'd pay one ticket just to go see it and let that be it. But as far as character development and doing for J.J. Abrams to do something with the characters, I don't know what direction he's going to go. More than likely, it's probably not going to be what most Star Wars fans want. And so that is not a good thing. Okay, we're going to lower this intensity a bit. But not too much. I'm going to try to change it to, let's see here, what does this do? That's kind of cool. Let's go through these. And green circles. Oh, nice. Okay, I'm just going through all these. What does IMAX do? Oh, that's actually kind of nice. But I wish I could make it kind of... Actually, I don't need this at all, so. Get this out of the way. I don't need to see you, I just want to see this. It's not bad. I'll probably make it spin. There's ways to make it spin on its axis. Here. Yeah, like rotation. So we'll just have it rotate a bit. If that can even be seen, I don't know. Something I'll have to work on. Okay. So, yeah. And so, yeah, so, I mean, we'll see how it goes. Like I said, I mean, I'll probably talk about it after I see it, which, I mean, I'm not going to see it opening night, for sure. I'm probably going to wait, let's say, probably wait a couple weeks before going to see it, if I see it at all. It might not be until you like watch it on video or online or something. But yeah. So that is basically that. I mean, overall, I'm very positive about. I mean, so I don't mind watching it. It's not like I'm so critical to the fact that it's like I would never watch them. Because I'd rather just do my own stuff. But it's you can tell it's really causing a shift for people who used to appreciate these, and now it's like, what's going on? There's just too many changes, opinion on things. So we'll see how it goes. It should be interesting to watch. Okay, somehow I gotta make that spin. Or maybe not. Maybe if I add other things like embers or something to it, that might be better. But I know, or maybe I just don't add anything at all. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. Maybe just bring down the intensity even more, maybe? I don't know, it's just kind of hard to do red on red. Yeah, that shows something, but it's not really much of a light flare there. Maybe a little bit. I guess a little bit would be okay. Yeah. Let's bring it up to 12. I can tell you one thing though, when it comes to Star Wars. I can't wait. They're going to be doing a Star Wars Lego video game showing all 9 movies of the Skywalker saga. And no matter how the movies were, I can't wait to play, all those Lego Star Wars things, because it should be a lot of fun. Probably get that and play that sometime in the next year or two. Excuse me a second. And a burp again. Okay, so let's see here. So I guess this whole, because I think we're almost done. This whole time has not really had been much editing, more so me talking about Star Wars. Huh. Oh well, that's what we get sometimes. Okay. Look through that composite shot, we're gonna do that. Think about these other ones, and we did that last week. Now this, I don't know. I think I need some type of brightness or intensity here, so I'm gonna add like the lens flare here again. Here, hold on. And then bring it down, basically. Turn that off. So what I'm going to do is... And I'm going to add a lens flare to the other one. We're just adding lens flares tonight. So that... And then we're going to take the intensity... Right here. Come down there, like so. Actually, let's go. Okay, so that way it does come down a bit. So that way it's diffused. Maybe we don't have to even worry about that one we've been working on. Don't have to worry about there being any light, although there could be a little bit of light. Just a subtle thing. Okay. Alright, so let's go to this composite shot now. And let's add a light flare to this, alright? Yeah, like I said, I love LEGO video games. And I'm thinking about starting sometime like in January, probably like the first weekend or second weekend in January. Every Saturday night, I'll be live streaming again, but it's not going to be doing editing. It's not going to be really any work at all. I realized that I need to have some downtime, so what I plan to do is I used to do a Let's Play in 8 minutes through my vlog channel, and my vlog channel has been inactive for years. I want to try and start up that vlog channel again and do more Let's Plays in 8 minutes. You're just basically playing through the game, but 8 minutes at a time. What I'll do while I'm playing through those games, I'll just live stream me playing through them, so we can, you can still, watch the whole thing of me messing up, probably. Just trying to get more content out there, So that is the plan. Alright, so this light flare we need to keep. It just needs to stay. Let's see here. Actually, just turn this off. Keep this intensity on. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, I definitely need to add some things to it. Okay, but like make it rotate and stuff. Probably make it smaller. Probably like keep it on here. Probably duplicate, actually. Duplicate and put one down here, but make it less intense. So instead of 65, let's go 38. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. And I can make it move with the staff at a later time. Work on that motion stuff. Like I said, a lot of work that still needs to be done. And I did work on like the audio part, or at least the voiceover audio parts. All the voiceovers are matched up with everything after just the audio's on them, so it's still a lot of sound stuff to do the next couple weeks, but I think the next 2 weeks should be able to get it done. We have a good slow start, but that's how it is. So okay, let's see here. So yeah, I'm just adding light flares tonight and updates and all that wonderful jazz. Oh, and there's spiders. Let's look at those spiders. Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. I like that little bit of glow there. Might reduce the intensity just a tad. Instead of 14, let's do 13. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I think so. Okay. So that's just part of it. So I'll see what we can do next week. Hopefully be working on these special effects more than I did this past week, which wasn't at all. But yeah. So I guess I will just wrap up tonight then. We're about what? Yeah, about 40 minutes into it. Okay. Not bad. Considering there's nothing to do. But a lot of updates, you know, a lot of things to do. Ender 3D printer, you know, more animating. Next year, 2020, will just be trying to get everything else I need to do for Tales of Valhalla done by the end of 2020. We'll see how that goes. It'll definitely be a race to the finish. But yeah, with that, I guess I gotta say, for those of you who are watching this video on YouTube via the Tales of Valhalla channel, this is the edited down version, which is about 10 minutes long. There is a longer version on my Conductor Productions YouTube page. You can find a link in the description below to see the full-length version of this live stream, if you'd like to know more information about what is happening with Tales of Valhalla and all of that jazz. This is just the little condensed version of what's happening. So, with that, I will say, like I said, link in the description below. And with that, I will bid all of you a good night, a good day, whenever you're watching this. And I will see all of you next Wednesday. Thanks to everybody who's watching the live stream tonight. Later.